A series of stories by the Albuquerque Journal's Shelby Perea has parents of kids at Albuquerque Public Schools talking, and teachers too. The district opted into a state program that tests water from faucets and fountains, make a note on that, for lead. Now, earlier this spring that happened. APS got those results back, and after the Journal published its story, the district addressed them publicly. But Tom, the district sort of addressed it at a time where perhaps they could have done better, maybe even 24 hours beforehand. What was your sense of the way they rolled this out?
Horrible. Yeah. I mean, there's no, the good takeaway is that now they know how not to do it.
Right.
Which is, is sad, but it's true. When in government, school government specifically, whenever you get an IPRA request,
yes,
you have 15 days to comply. You can choose to do that in 3 days. You can do it 1 day. You can take all 15 days. Well, during that time, there's obviously, if it's a voluminous piece of paper or a document, then that is going to take some time to create. However, it also provides you an opportunity to kind of see what the issues are and what the headlines are going to be before they are. So it gives you a chance to address those issues internally.
Yep.
With APS, it's clear that they did not take advantage of that to try and fix and get ahead of the issue. And so that's really unfortunate because they actually had a very good story to tell. They voluntarily asked the EPA to go ahead and conduct this, and they actually had a very quick response as far as replacing sinks, faucets where needed. They had a list of schools, and they were very proactive in their response. They just weren't proactive and really compassionate about sharing the great things that they actually did in this particular case.
Fair enough. I can appreciate that for sure. Martha, when you think about it, when you got all the things in the air about Flint, everything about water, in our home state, contamination from Air Force bases and such. Water is a hair trigger issue.
It is.
You've got to get this right if you could talk about kids' health and water in your facilities. How could they have done this better in your view?
Oh, I think Tom is absolutely right. They should have gotten out in front of it. But fundamentally, they should have done something about it a long time ago. They already knew there were some problems with the water. The teacher's op-ed, the teacher addressed it. She said she would not drink it. The toilets had dirty water that you could tell by looking at it.
That's right.
And I thought another mistake the district made in responding to this was they got an expert, maybe the guy was an expert, but he said, well, an occasional drink is not going to harm you, it's chronic usage. The teacher, on the other hand, says the kids are filling up their water bottles every day with this water.
That's right.
So, and the experts say there is no safe level of lead. Right. So when you're talking about kids, brain damage, dyslexia, there's so many implications to this. And for them to come out then and say, well, if the parents are worried about it, let them go have their kid tested. That's pretty callous.
That sounded very defensive to me. That bit right there was really surprising. And Ed, when you think about it, picking up on what Martha said, they, meaning APS, has gone through great pains to try to cut this distinction between water fountains and sinks, in that we shouldn't be worried because the sinks were the culprit, and the teachers were saying that these kids are filling up their water bottles under these sinks. Does APS not know the behavior of children? I mean, kids drink out of sinks all the time. I mean, you can't make those kind of distinctions.
Well, unfortunately, it appears that they're trying to minimize the issue and the concerns. You notice in the press releases coming from APS, they really use minimizing language. It's not a big deal. There's no reason for concern, no reason to be in fear, language of that sort. But there should be concern, right?
That's right.
My daughter's a teacher at Washington Middle School, and when I first saw the story come out, I thought, is Washington Middle School on that list?
Of course you would. Of course you would.
Unfortunately, I didn't see it on the list, but I think every parent has that same concern. And I'm sure the leadership in APS, if they had children who were going to these schools, maybe this problem could have been addressed sooner. What I'd want to know is, what did they know and when did they know it? I mean, that's the biggest question, right? Why did they wait until this testing came about before they realized, okay, we really do have a problem?
That's right.
Because, as Martha mentioned, there was a teacher who was aware of this 3 years ago, and those teachers who made her aware of it were aware of it prior to that. So this has been a long time coming, and of course, there is no safe level of lead for these young children, because they did say that the child's weight and height and other factors,
right.
can have an impact on the amount of lead that can be dangerous. And these are young,
That's right.
Young children.
That's right. Your kid's age, as a matter of fact. They're young too. One of these schools found 65% over the federal limit of lead found in one of these things, but we're not supposed to worry. You see what I mean? I mean, as a parent, does that do anything for you?
Yeah, for sure.
You're right.
I didn't see my children's school on any list either, but yeah, it makes me concerned on how they, going back to Tom's point, how they handle those things. Even before they got the IPRA, if they got that test done, why didn't they get out in front and publicly come out and say, hey, look, we got this test done, and we're immediately going to replace pipes and sinks, and there's got to be some sort of emergency cash that they can
That's
use
right.
for some of that.
That's right.
And initially, APS didn't even identify the schools in the coverage. They said, we're going to talk about it tomorrow. It's just like, where's the consideration for the students, for the parents, for the school communities?
Yep.
Absolutely none.
I'm still hung up on this sink versus water fountain thing. I can't get over it, because look, as an ex-contractor, Martha, sinks don't cause lead. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Just replacing the sinks is not going to do it. There's
Well,
other issues clearly going on here.
I don't think, Gene, replacing the faucets is going to do it. It's
Exactly.
probably in the pipes. I lived in an 1890s house in Washington, D.C. We had to redo a lot of pipes there
right.
because of lead in the pipes.
That's right. That's right.
And so just saying, well, we got a new faucet, that is definitely a Band-Aid.
Right, right. And I got a last question for you here, and it's a good one. Our producer, Matt Grubbs, kind of threw this one down. The testing of the water in schools is done with federal money. Shouldn't be that testing would be routine and mandatory without having to go through all this rigmarole we're going now? Wouldn't you have expected that with federal money, this would have been a regular part of checking on water in our schools at this point?
You would think so. I mean,
Yeah.
it's such an important health issue, especially in light of Flint, Michigan, and what was uncovered there. And we knew that there were problems, and there should have been access to resources, whether it's federal resources to test, or if necessary, emergency resources from the state level.
Right.
It was just a slow time in coming.
Now we're in that place, Tom, from the PR standpoint, where there's ground to be made up. That's always a tough part of these kind of situations. What does APS to do to make up ground here before the school year starts?
In a crisis, there are four audiences to address: victims, employees, customers, and then the media. The level of compassion you show to the victims will determine how quickly and how successfully you're able to resolve that particular issue. So they need to focus on any and all concerns of parents and teachers. They should do a whole sink build out. They are going for a bond election coming up here soon. So it's a good opportunity to say, here's what the money's going to go towards.
Is this one of those money is no object opportunities? I mean, we're talking about to help the kids here.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
Absolutely.
it's not like
a
soccer field or something.
If done correctly, I
Yeah.
think they could even go for a bond increase as far as an
Right.
increase in the bond and mill levies.
That's right. Good. Touch on that if you would. Is it opportunity, as Tom's mentioning here?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you're talking about people's kids, you're talking about their long-term health, their short-term well-being, just showing up at the school every day. And now, I mean, kids pick up on this stuff. They're gonna know something's wrong here. Is it going to affect me? So I think Tom is absolutely right. It's an opportunity if they can take advantage of it in the right way.
I mean, Edwin, you've got teachers in a break room joking about how bad your water is in your own school. You know what I mean? You got a big problem. Now, we understand that, the folks have come back and said, look, it's not in the main pipe system. We're checking on that. There's other reasons. That's fine. Just keep checking. I want them to keep digging and keep finding this thing. But I ask again, what is going to be satisfactory for parents going into this next school year? Because I'm telling you, anybody dropping off their kid on day one coming up that's a little unsure about the water, you got a problem in that school. There's no question about it.
That's right. APS really has to deal with this head on, and I don't think they have. I don't think they have a very good crisis management plan, because they ask parents through their press releases not to be fearful and there's no concern. When you start to use terms like that, then what it does is it invokes fear and concern. Trust us, we're the government. Don't worry about it. Parents aren't buying that.
That's right.
And so I think it's parents are going to have to demand more information. They're going to have to demand from APS to know exactly what APS is doing, and APS needs to give them a response.
The teachers could get in on this too as a group.
Right.
you're endangering us as well
Yes.
as our students. You're endangering our livelihood as well as our health. And teachers have a pretty good solidarity on a lot of issues, and
right.
this is an opportunity for them.
Interesting point there about the union could weigh in here, right?
Yeah, I
mean,
think I
yeah.
was just thinking about that. There's
Yeah.
there's the union that definitely has the solidarity there. I have a feeling that it hasn't come up from like there's one teacher brought it up, but I think it took a long time because it's scary. You don't want to be the one teacher that comes out and makes your employer look bad.
But I have to ask, you make a good point there. I have to ask, I'm kind of holding this one too. Does this situation show, Andy, that there's some kind of communication problem here about how things go up the chain?
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
'Cause I have questions too,
Yeah.
as far as this one teacher that was kind of that Shelby focused on. Said she brought it up a lot.
Right.
But then I have questions about, did it stop at the principal?
That's right.
Did the principal mention APS?
Yep.
And then where does it go from there?
And that's all going to be revealed at some point. There's no question. Reporters are going to keep going at this, so it's interesting.
You know, for the district right now, they need to be transparent
Yes.
about everything. In fact, even just inviting Shelby Perea, who's done a fantastic job of reporting. Hello, Mr.
It's all right.
Roth.
It's
How
small
are you?
season.
Huh?
It's all right.
Yeah, I think it might be Raquel Reedy kind of coming in on our conversation. She has something she wants to say. But really, when you look at it, they have the opportunity to be transparent. Shelby
Yes.
Perea has done a fantastic job of doing the coverage. Invite her in to be part of not the decision process, but just so they can see how decisions are made,
Right.
how the priority is being placed on children.
That's right.
Because that right now, those messages are not getting.
It's the old case of things making it out the door from the teacher's lounge. These things are always very apparent in the teacher's lounge, so to speak, but they never seem to make it outside. I'm an ex-husband of a school teacher, and I used to get told these things all the time. They've got it all figured out in the teacher's lounge, but then, the administration never seems
never
to hear
come
it.
in there.
Right, exactly. So I ask again, is there something missing, Martha, in how we understand on the ground how things work in our schools? I'm not trying to make too much of this, but something doesn't seem right here. That something so big could be so capped down for so long.
Well, I'm just going to use that cover-up word because I feel like if the teachers knew this, and maybe the principal never does come in the teacher's lounge, but he flushes the toilet.
Right.
And so if it's not a cover-up overtly, it's a benign cover-up, but the result is the same.
That's right.
And now they're way behind the curve.
That's a good point. Every one of those 69 principals of those 69 schools that we're testing are going to have to have a story for parents this year. They're going to have their own story. So we'll see what happens. That's all time we have this week. As always, you can head to Facebook to find our weekly warm-up and rundown of things we didn't get a chance to talk to on air. Some good stuff there. Don't miss it.